It's a pleasure to be talking with you today. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there in person. I wanted to be there because this is an extremely important meeting. I found the PSYOPs report, the one that you were briefed on yesterday, to be a really great document, and frankly, I'm not aware of anything like it. It gives a comprehensive overview of the state of pharmacovigilance systems in Sub-Saharan Africa. It points to strengths and it points to areas for improvement. Part of the goal of this meeting is to share tools and best practices for conducting pharmacovigilance activities, and so I want to do today is tell you a little bit about some of the tools that FDA uses to do pharmacovigilance. Before my presentation, let me just make an important point. Our FDA interagency agreement with USAID, the one that has made the PSYOPs report and this meeting possible, is designed to be catalytic. The report in this meeting can shed light on the need for capacity building in pharmacovigilance systems and spark interest in global health and development organizations to take up these efforts in the future. Let's get started with the presentation. I'll talk about our post-marketing safety activities, the components of FDA's post-market drug safety system, the idea of a safety signal life cycle, specific approaches we take, FDA's drug risk communication programs, and some future directions. So what are our post-market safety activities? The core of this involves safety signals. This includes the detection of these signals, strengthening signals, and confirmation of these signals. As I'll discuss, we rely on various data sources to identify, strengthen, and confirm signals. We also do some formal post-market safety reviews. For example, 18 months after a medicine is approved or after 10,000 patients take it, whichever comes later, we do a formal review of the safety of the medicine. We also do pediatric safety reviews 18 months after a medicine has received pediatric exclusivity. We also assess the safe use of medicines because we realize that the harm caused by a medicine is due not only to the intrinsic pharmacologic properties of the medicine, but also to how the medicine is used in practice. To do all this, we have to engage in regulatory activities and regulatory actions, such as changing the label of a medicine, issuing new warnings, or on occasion removing a drug from the market. Finally, our drug risk communication program is a core part of our post-market safety activities, for if we don't communicate our findings to the public, they won't be able to know the most recent information about a medicine. Our post-market drug safety system has several components. At the center is what we already know about the medicine, and we augment this with several different streams of data, such as spontaneous reports, some newly developed active surveillance systems, observational studies using already collected healthcare data, drug utilization reviews to tell us how medicines are being used. Clinical trials are becoming an increasingly important source of safety information after market approval, and medication error reports tell us about how the medicines are being used in ways that may cause harm to patients and in ways that we can take measures to prevent such harm. Safety signals have a life cycle. If we start at the upper left, there's signal detection. This is the first information we have about a safety issue, and we use definitions such as those from the WHO and CIOMS for safety signals. This is followed by signal strengthening, learning more about the signal and what we might need to do to confirm it. This is often followed by formal studies to confirm the signal. These can range from intensive review of adverse event reports to formal observational studies to, in some cases, clinical trials. When we confirm the signal, we then take regulatory actions such as making changes to the label or other recommendations, and then we continue to monitor to see how the safety message is being taken up by the medical community. Thus, we continue surveillance to see if we can detect new signals that the message hasn't been properly received, or perhaps that the message has been properly received and the medicine is being used in a more safe manner. Passive surveillance. This is a term used to describe our use of spontaneous reports. As we all know, this system has challenges, but it's a very, very important system for us. It's been the backbone of our system for over 40 years, and despite many new technological advances and scientific advances, it still is a very important system. However, we all know that case reports as a whole often lack important clinical details. This limits our ability to make the necessary inferences from them. To improve this system, we need to involve stakeholders, specifically the medical professions such as pharmacists, physicians, nurses, and patients as well, to engage them in more complete adverse event reporting. We also need to refine signal detection methods as the number of reports increases. At FDA, we're relying more on data mining to detect signals, for example. What are the qualities of a good case report? We've enumerated these in guidance, but I think it's worth going over them here. First, a description of the event. Next, what are the suspected products or products? And importantly, what are the concomitant treatments that a patient may be taking? What are the patient characteristics, such as age, their medical history, their treatment history? How is the diagnosis of the adverse event established? Is it a firm diagnosis or is it a suspected diagnosis? What was the clinical course of the adverse event and what was its outcome? What were the treatment and lab values at baseline, that is, before treatment, during therapy, and after therapy? What was the response to de-challenge, that is, what happened when the medicine was removed, and to re-challenge, that is, what happened when the medicine was reintroduced? And then any other relevant information. Active surveillance. Active surveillance takes a different approach. With spontaneous reports, both FDA and the company are waiting for someone to tell us something about a potential problem with a medicine. In active surveillance, we're out there actively looking. This can be disease-based, such as following all persons with a given disease, drug-based, following all persons on a given medicine, or setting-based, following persons in a certain setting, such as a nursing home or an emergency department. To accomplish this, we launched several years ago our Sentinel initiative. This uses large databases from multiple sources that are linked using a common data model. This covers a large number of lives. About 25 million lives were covered in 2010, and 100 million lives are expected to be covered by the end of 2012. There are two components to this: the mini Sentinel system, which uses data from private insurers and is run by academics led by Harvard University in Boston, Massachusetts, and our federal partners collaboration, through which we collaborate with several federal agencies such as the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the Veterans Administration, and the Department of Defense. There are other tools and other issues that are important. I don't have time to talk about them in detail, but observational studies and clinical trials are becoming more and more important as sources of both safety signals and as confirmation of safety signals. Drug utilization studies tell us a lot about how a medicine is being used and can inform how we might implement risk management systems. We can use drug utilization studies also to inform us how well risk management systems are being used in certain cases. We analyze medication error reports. These are very important to us because medications are, by their definition, preventable, and we want to be able to prevent any harm that we can. We also assess adverse events related to drug quality problems as well. Public dissemination of our findings is very important, and in the last 5 or so years, we've greatly expanded our outreach and public communications. Our website has a drug safety page, and one of the components is the post-market drug safety information for patients and providers. This contains information on post-marketing studies and clinical trials of approved products, drug safety communications on emerging drug safety issues, even before we've arrived at a final conclusion. We use these to update the public on the status of our important safety investigations. We have drug-specific information. Our MedWatch safety alerts are on the internet. You can also receive them via email. We publish potential signals and signals of serious risks identified from the adverse event reporting system. Again, in most cases, this is before the signal has been fully worked up, but we do tell the public which signals we are working on. The adverse event reporting system itself has a public access site on our website. There is a lot of other information on post-market drug and biologic safety. There's information on the Drug Safety Oversight Board. That's a group of people from FDA and from other government agencies that provide input on drug safety issues. And there are many other items on the website. So what are some of the challenges? I think we all know the science in this area needs to be advanced. We're making progress in this area. This is a global endeavor, and advances in pharmacology, informatics, and other sciences are improving the science of drug safety. More now than ever, it's been important to engage our stakeholders. These are the patients we serve, the health professionals we serve, and the public in general. Our increased attention to drug safety communication has been about engaging stakeholders. Finally, building capacity is important, and by this I mean training people with the proper expertise to work in the area of drug safety. Building capacity in drug safety science is very important. As drug safety science becomes more important and more complex, we need to build more capacity, train more people in this area, get more people interested in this area. We need to increase our collaborations, and we need to share our best practices. And this is truly a global endeavor. Thank you.